So in this video, we're going to learn how to add objects to the face from a free online library, sketchfab. And also we're going to learn about gesture triggers. So for example, in here, when I blink, it adds things and removes them. Or when I open my mouth, it adds them and removes them. So let's do it. So again, we'll start with the sharing effect. And then like last time, we'll add the face tracker from here. And then we're going to want to add some objects to this face tracker. So to import objects from the library, click this little icon here. At some stage, it'll ask you to create a sketchfab account. So just pause the video, go create the account, and then come back. Then from here, just search glasses, view all, and then go down till you find these ones with the yellow rims. Import. When it's done, this button will change to blue. Or you can just click back into the program and you'll see it down here. So what you do, you just drag from here onto the face tracker. So what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to resize and reposition it to match it up. So for example, click the scale to change the scale, and then you see in the middle has a yellow square. So just hold the yellow square and drag the mouse to scale it. And as well, move till it looks good. So another, because it's pretty hard to position based on this object down here, easy way to do that would be to add a face mesh, and then you can more easily see where the glasses are lined up on the face. So that looks good. Again, I'm using right click to rotate it around, scroll to zoom in and out. Once it looks good, hide this face mesh again. There you go, you get some glasses. But you'll also notice that when you turn your head, you can see the sides of the glasses when it should be not visible. So to get rid of those, you go back to the AI library and search for occluder. And then use the one that says blocks. Don't use the 3D object ones, use this blocks one. And import. Then you'll see it down here. What you want to do as well, you add that to the face tracker as well. And you want this in the list to be above the glasses. So there. Then when you turn your head, it hides the glasses. And don't worry too much about the little bug about this. It's trying to go behind your ear, but don't worry about that for now. So now we'll add a hat the same way. So go back to AI library, search hat, view all on the 3D objects. And just choose pretty much any of these if you want. Top hat, down here, drag it again to face tracker. And you'll see if you scroll out that it's huge. So scale it down. And position it. There you go, you got a little silly hat and glasses filter. It's pretty fast. So yeah, if you want, you can maybe delete these, try different glasses, different hats. You could also find different heads. You could import a dragon head. Maybe put the glasses on the dragon. Yeah, whatever, just have some fun with it. So I'll just let you know as well here. For example, if I get something here that has a big geometry vertices count and I try to import it, Spark is going to say that it's over the recommended amount, and it may not allow your effect to be published. So try to find ones that have lower vertices geometry. So here's the warning here. Triangle count exceeds the recommended limit. So you just have to find one with lower triangle count. So next thing we'll make is this little hologram thing that when I blink it turns on and off, and also if I open my mouth. So first thing we want to do is import an image. I'll add a link in the description again to this folder v2 phase 2 with some assets for you. And I want you to, a way to import assets, you can open the folder and click hologram 1 and just drag it over down to here. So now you have the image. This is what the image looks like. I'm going to show you 2 ways to add this into the scene. So one way you would have to go, so we're going to add it to the face tracker. So right click the face tracker, add object, plane. A plane is just like a flat surface, you can see. And then you have to do material, change the material to flat, and then the texture to hologram. And then you have to size it so that it matches the original. But I'll show a faster way. So I'll just delete this plane here. So this way will work if you already have the texture ready. So from the texture, you can right click, actions, and animate, spin. What that'll do, it'll put these things down here. So just move them a bit and then press delete. And then you can just close this. And then what that has done, it's created the plane, created the material, and it's set it up the exact size of the image here. So the only thing left to do is go into the material and change it to flat. So that's just a faster way to create a plane with the material the same size as the image. So now what we want to do, we want to change also in the material the blend mode to screen. So what screen does is it makes pure black go invisible, and it will also create like a screeny sort of effect on an image. Maybe I'll show you guys in another vid. So also how we added it through this faster way, it didn't add to the face tracker, so we just have to drag it into the face tracker so that it moves with the head. Now to make it look like it's a hologram following the head, we just have to position it around again. So what you can do, instead of clicking these to change the transforms, the hotkeys are E, R, and T. So I can press E, move it around, R, rotate it, T, scale, E again. So when you're happy with the position of one of those, you can go to the material actually and change the color. So anything that's on the texture that's white will change with this color. So let's do a little teal. Cool. Then from there, let's say we want to do multiple panels. So what we want to do is, if you're happy with them all to be the same color, you can just click the plane and press Ctrl D, which means duplicate, and then move it around. But I would say let's do some different colors. So we'll just delete that one. To make a duplicate that also makes its own material, you press Ctrl C and Ctrl V. So now you'll see down here, there's a new material for this plane. So I'll just move it around a bit. And then if I click this material here and change the color, we have 2 different colors. So I'll do it one more time. Click the plane, Control C, Control V. Click the new plane, go into the material, change it to another color, and move it around. Then play with some position, sizes, rotation. Then I'll duplicate some to get some that share the same color. So Control D. Click the pink one, Control D. Orange one, Control D. They have some pretty weird, cool hologram thing. And also you'll probably notice that it's a bit hard to see some of them, like especially this orange one here. So what we can do, we can darken the background a bit. So go back to the folder that's in the description and drag this full screen black AR block down to here. Then drag this to the focal distance. And then you want it to be above the face tracker. So you'll see over here it has a, well, the block is clicked up here. you'll see over here the opacity slider. So if you drag this, you can see it will make it darker or lighter. So I'll keep it at like 0.6 around there. If this doesn't work, just click this restart effect over here and it should work again. So now we'll learn a little bit about gestures and interaction. So the software can pick up many user gestures. So here's a list of most of them: blink, eyebrows lowered, eyebrows raised, happy face, etc. Today I'll just show you a couple, but you'll be able to use them the same way. So we'll probably use blink and mouth open today. So first thing you want to do is right click the face tracker and go create patch. This little area down here is called the patch graph, and each of these squares is a patch. So let's say we want to use mouth open. So right click the back and just type mouth, and you'll see here it has mouth open, the second one. So click this and add patch. Now you'll notice with every patch that it has inputs on this side and outputs on this side. So you'll see on this patch we need a face as the input. So an output of this one is a face. So we can join these two. And then now you'll see open state. If I was to click this and open my mouth, it does a tick. So what we want to do is we want to link that to the visibility of some of these panels somehow. So how we do that, select a few panels that you want to disappear or appear. So just click any 3 random ones. To click multiple, click and then hold shift and click the other 2. So with 3 selected, then also click this visible up here. There's a little arrow. That means to send this value to the patch graph. So click this and you'll see they've all come down here. So 1, 2, 3, and then link this open state to the visible arrows here. So then what happens if I open my mouth? They will appear. So let's do a similar thing but with blink. So we'll delete all these things down in the patch graph. You can just drag them all and press delete. Then we want to, so we might as well just drag this face and type blink. Then, so what we're going to try to do is when we blink, it will show different panels. So again, select half of them, any random 3. And then put the visible arrow. But this time, after the blink, we want to drag this and then type switch. So what a switch is, it's like a switch, like think of it like a light switch. It starts off, and when you flip, it'll flip the other way. And flip again, will flip the other way. So what this is doing is when you blink, it'll flip the switch. So then we want the switch to join to these visible things. So now when we blink, it's going to show them. Blink, it'll turn them off. So what you could also do, you could combine them. So also on the patch graph, you can hold control and scroll to zoom out. Hold the middle click down to move it around. So I'll do the same thing we did at the start. So drag this to mouth open. Whoops. Drag this to mouth, then type mouth and click mouth open. And then click these other 3 panels, hold shift and the visible thing again. Drag them out and connect the open state to these ones. So now they both work. So if you blink, those ones will come on and off, and if you open your mouth, they're both together. So another tip, you can see that down here, it can get very messy if you have a lot of layers over here. So what you can do instead of, let's say for example, instead of these 3, so 4, 3, and 2, if I was to delete these, or underneath the face tracker, right click and add an object called a null object. So what that pretty much is it's like a folder. So for example, I was to add these 3 back again. So you can hold control to select multiple and then drag them into the null object. Now then what that does, if I click the null object and use the visible, it will hide them all. Also what you can do, you can move them all together, you could scale them all together, all the transforms, rotate. Just makes it easier to manage multiple objects. And also, while the null object is selected, I can link this visible down to the patch. So if I do this onto the switch, it will work the same. I'll also show you quickly how to add text as well. So right click the face tracker, add object, and then 3D text. If you want to keep it 3D, that's fine. But I like to use it mainly for 2D text. So what I do is I change the front material to, let's say, flat, and I want to keep it, let's say, this color. Okay. And I want to get rid of the side. So click back in the text. If I want to make the side invisible, just so it looks 2D, create a new material, go into that material and change this opacity down to 0. Then you have some 2D text. While the text is selected, you can change the input of it here. Move it around, transform it, just like every other object. So let's say I try to make it inside one of these holograms. Also, if it gets annoying that your face moving or let's say blinking is making it disappear too much, I can just, when it's at a state that I like, I can click pause and then it won't show any of my face movements or anything. Then I'm more free to move things around and position them properly. Then if I want it to disappear with the other ones, I can add it to this null object, play again up here. Voila. And you'll also notice if you're trying to move things while the effect isn't paused, let's say for example I just want to move this part and then I move my head, it's going to go back to my mouse. So that's just another reason to do the pause. You can also add custom fonts here. So there's a bunch of default ones from Facebook in this list here in the font. Otherwise you can either find the font in your computer this way, so the plus down here, plus import from computer, or you can just drag it like last time. So in the folder I'll put this font here, Neutronium, drag it in here, and then now when you select your text and go to font, it should be at the bottom, Neutronium. That's a bit of cool hologram font. You can also change letter spacing and line spacing here as well. So let's say 10. And let's add a couple more. So what I'll do the same trick as before, where I'll get new materials because I want different colors for the new text. So Control C, Control V. Also I'm going to pause because this blink thing is annoying. So now I have another text with new material. I can go in here, change this material to another color, and then I'll do the same thing, Control C, Control V, move this one, change this color to orange. There we go. Just play with this a bit. Also, if you see that the plane in front is blocking stuff behind, what you can do is go into the material. So click this plane that's blocking it, go into the material, down to advanced render options, and untick both of these. And then it will just show whatever's behind it too. You'll probably have to do that. If it's annoying you for all of them, you'll probably have to do it with all the materials. So you can apply settings to multiple materials by selecting multiple. So click, hold Control, click, click, and then advanced render options and untick both of them. So now if you want, you could experiment with other face gestures. So just drag this face to the background and let it go, and under interaction over here, then you can see all the other things that you could play with. The Z rotation one's pretty cool as well. So left turn, like for example, if you turn your head left, you could make certain effects show, or to the right, a different set of effects, up, down. Yeah, just have a play with a few of these. Another quick tip I'll give you guys. So let's say I wanted to, when I blink, it shows these, but when I blink, it'll show another set. So you can use a thing. Let's say instead I would use of this plane, or just unlink this plane. So I want this plane to appear when the other ones don't appear. You can use the same output of the switch. So drag it to the back and type not. So all that's doing is doing the opposite of what this is saying. So if I connect this to the plane, when I blink, that'll disappear when these ones appear. So this is what it will look like if I link all three of the other planes. And that's all for today's video. So yeah, just go have some fun as usual.